Ooh, ooh, ooh.
You just said something?
Yeah, said I'm going live.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to Malik to jump in here.
Okay, you're not going to work with them, are you?
Yeah. What?
No, that takes too long. I'm live already.
Why can't I go to work?
And it's not a good idea.
Oh,
I'm live already. Hi, Five Blessed, how are you? I'm all messing up already. Good afternoon and good evening. Yes, where am I at? In the evening. I am in the evening. Hi, Carla. Welcome once again to Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and more. You ladies know me. I'm Nancy. I'll wait. You know, I'm waiting for the live stream to correct the flow. So while I'm waiting for that, I'll submit my personal plugs. If you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, just contact me at my email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. If you're ever interested in submitting a love offering, you can do so through Super Chat and or through my Cash App Me link. The other day I said my PayPal Me link. Not that. I don't know what happened to the PayPal. Through the Cash App Me link. You can find that link in the upper right corner on my home page in the header. Actually, please like, share, and if you haven't already, to subscribe. Once the health of the live stream corrects itself, we're going to commence with this live stream. This one is going to be short, y'all. Hi, Alicia. How you doing today? This one is going to be short, and what we'll be discussing in the course of this live stream is what divine femininity as well as divine masculinity really is. These are two terms that I hear used frequently, and I do believe that people are being miseducated on what the divine feminine is as well as the divine masculine is. And so the health of the live stream has corrected itself, and so I'm going to begin. I pray all is well with you. If I haven't said it, I hope so. All is well. Let's see. I want to start, well, I've already started a category here on my channel. It's not a category that I submit content to that often. And the category is called Comprehension to Ascension. The last video that I can recall making was a year or two ago under this particular category of Comprehension to Ascension, and it was entitled something like Who is Seven Bomar? And it said, Who is Seven Bomar? Comprehension to Ascension. And so hope all is well with you. It's been beautiful. The weather has been beautiful. I love fall. I love the colors, the leaves, and everything. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. Right now, it's just perfect. And so I'm just enjoying the moment. So, how does the category Comprehension to Ascension complement, or I say can help shed light on the true nature of femininity and masculinity as far as them being a divine force? I'll explain. Let me read. You know I do better just read my notes. So, reading my notes, y'all. Divine feminine. You know I have a problem with that word. A feminine. Of course it's going to haunt me now. Hi Emily, how you doing? And divine masculine. Now, how should I do this? Comprehension to ascension is the goal. I guess I got to explain that. How can we, when I say we, you know I'm talking about every individual that creates humanity, how can we ascend if we don't really understand what it means to ascend? If we don't really understand what is required of us to ascend? These are subject matters that we've covered in previous videos and live streams. To ascend means to wake up in consciousness and awareness so that you can do what? Make some positive change in your life, in the world, and in the world. And I started this category, comprehension to ascension, because it appeared to me, I was perceiving that a lot of people, not just here on my channel, but across like YouTube and other platforms, people were not really comprehending what they were being taught by different teachers or people that share. They didn't understand. And one of the things that people didn't understand was what it meant to ascend. I witnessed many people stating that the ascension process was about literally physically ascending to higher planes, higher realms, and higher dimensions. And I end up creating this category in order to explain my understanding of such things as ascension. And it is not about the ascension of the physical body from this physical plane or realm we call Earth. It is about the ascension of our consciousness. We can be assured that that is true because the physical body does not leave the earth. You are granted a physical body or vessel at the time of your birth, and at the time of one's death, the spirit leaves the body here on earth to decay. So that is not true ascension. I repeat and I reiterate that ascension is an evolution in one's consciousness, becoming aware of some information that you had not formerly known, and that information is allotted to a person if they're receptive to it to help them progress and succeed in whatever realm they are in. In our case, it is in the earthly realm, the physical realm, the realm of physicality. Another thing I've talked about, still talking about this category that I created some time ago, called comprehension to ascension. Another subject matter that I discussed was moving from the old paradigm into the new paradigm and the new world order. I witnessed that many people believe that the new paradigm or the new world order had to do with, again, the Antichrist, which it does, but it was, that concept was more mystical, and so I tried to ground the information that I shared about what it means to move from the old paradigm into the new paradigm or into the new world order. And what does that mean? It means that humanity's consciousness is changing. The question is it ascending or is it descending? Based on my perspective, it seems like humanity's consciousness has been stagnated and forced to descend. And because our consciousness is descending and technology is advancing, and there's a bigger gap between those that know and those that do not know, the new paradigm consists of advancements in technology that leave certain people behind in the old paradigm. Those that will go into the new paradigm have ascended in consciousness, meaning they can keep up with current technologies. They can keep up with the moral or the demoralization of society. That's what it means to move from the old paradigm to the new paradigm. And the new world order aligns with like the political realm and what the platforms will be and what the parties will be interested in and promoting. And most of those new agendas do not hold the common man and woman well-being in the highest, is not their concern. It says, yes, evident imbalance, new rule, no more advancements in technology that support convenience for the self until we solve some problems first. Okay, thank you. I believe that's the case too. I think we have advanced enough in technology, and I think we need to stop and we need to cipher through what we already know to see if it can be used to help all and not just some. That's one. And two is to really acknowledge what is harmful to us here in this physical realm, or just harmful to the physical realm, period. And if something is found to be harmful to the physical realm, it should be dismantled, done away with, and should not be able to be, further any further. But that's not what the New World Order is offering. It is offering to keep advancing in technology, even if it is detrimental to any part of physicality. That's the New World Order, and it's very corporate led and different things like that. And so now back to this video. Now that I set, oh really, who the hell is it? I have no idea, but okay. How do I turn this thing off, y'all? Old people in technology. Baby know how to use it better than me. Let me get rid of it. I'm sorry. My phone barely rings. It's like as soon as I get on this live, phone ring, people come. It's like insane. Okay, turning the volume down. So why was I sharing all that information? I was sharing it to build up to what we're discussing today, and it is what the divine feminine really is and the divine masculine really is. Reason why we are covering this subject, because it is about comprehending so that we can ascend. All right, so let me see. Let's see, other terms you may have heard that are equivalent to or correspond to the divine feminine and divine masculine are like yin and yang, dark and light, negative and positive, Venus and Mars, subconscious and conscious, female and male. The divine feminine and masculine, as well as all of those other similar or equivalent terms, are terms that suggest there has to be a balance. I'm trying to work my way through it, y'all. A balance of what? Well, the reality is, comprehend this, that the divine feminine and the divine masculine are intelligence or consciousness. Therefore, it is the capacity to understand and comprehend. Can you really grasp that? That when we talk about the divine feminine, there's yourself here, and the divine masculine, I don't want to jump the gun. What we are really talking about at the core is consciousness. What is consciousness? Consciousness is an intelligence. So I can kind of reword that and say divine feminine offers a level of consciousness, and the divine masculine offers another level of consciousness. What does it mean? We're going through it. It's going to be a short video, but we're going to go through it. And if I'm able to convey this message appropriately, you're going to come out after this video so much further ahead than many people, because many people have this misunderstanding or misconception of what the divine feminine and divine masculine actually is. And we can say right now, we are aware that these two distinctive terms are intelligence. It is a set, let me see. It is a set of intelligence relative to the divine feminine. It is another set of intelligence relative to the divine masculine. Let's see how I can say this. It's something that I want to point out here before we go into depth on each of these sets of intelligence. And I want you to turn your attention to like dualism, the dualism sign. We covered this a couple of years back. I want you to turn your attention to the law of attraction. The law of attraction. We find the law of attraction or magnetism in nature through what? Magnets. If you like an in-depth understanding of the law of attraction, you can locate my video that covers the various natural laws. But in short, for this video, let me try to state it. Let's imagine that the man, the masculine energy, is the South Pole, and the feminine energy is the North Pole. The South Pole and the North Pole attract naturally. The question is, why do they attract? And in brief, the reason why the South Pole is attracted to the North Pole is because the South, the masculine energy or consciousness, has its own unique set of attributes that literally complements the North's attributes, this feminine energy over here. They're complementary. However, they are distinct and different. And so the South, how can I say this, can learn from its counterpart, the North, the feminine. So he draws near her in order to learn what she knows, to partake in what she has or possesses, because it does what? It enhances him. The same thing stands true for him or for her. She, this feminine energy, which is the North, has her own set of attributes. Very unique, but they complement the masculine energy or the South. And so there are certain things that she wants that she can only get from her ordained counterpart, which is the North. And so she draws near him. She draws near him in order to partake in what he has, so that he can fill her up. I hope I made that make sense. Sun makes the moon shine. Exactly. They feed into each other. So hopefully that example, you have to go watch that video. I'm trying to kind of summarize that video. I talk forever, so that video probably an hour and a half long, where I really go into detail about the law of attraction, polarity, and different things like that. And so it's no different here when we're talking about the divine feminine energy and the divine masculine energy. Each of these, I'll say, energies are pure information. Feminine information, masculine information. They are ordained counterparts. They are meant to be together. I don't want to jump the gun because I got my notes in order, so I'm going to just read. So, understand and comprehend. The divine feminine is the intelligence, the consciousness, and the capacity to do what? What side is she on? The divine feminine. She is, I read again, she's the intelligence, the consciousness, and the capacity to do what? Well, the divine feminine really represents the capability or the capacity to be open, to be open-minded, to be receptive, to be a receiver, to be sympathetic, to be alert, to be observant, and to be concerned. Whereas the masculine energy, the divine masculine, is the intelligence, the consciousness, and the capacity to do what? It is the capacity to act, to react, to respond, to move mountains, to manifest from vision into the physical realm as of form, as into form or material. That's what the masculine consciousness, the masculine intellect consists of. And those examples I gave are just a few of many attributes. Let's see. The universe, I'm reading, the universal law, the natural law of opposites. The relative presence or absence of any particular trait. What is that? Where I kind of already jumped the gun and I talked about it. I paralleled what we're talking about right now, which is the masculine, divine masculine and divine feminine, with the law of attraction, or the law of polarity. Again, you can locate that video. It's a few years ago. And I think it's called the law of attraction. That's what I think the video is called, to get a clearer understanding. So I already talked about that. Now, this is something that I want to shed light on as well, is that these two distinct sets of consciousness, of intelligence, of information, of capability is guaranteed to exist, to always exist. The reason why we know this is because these consciousness, sets of consciousness, are vital information to our reality, to the existence of our reality. What am I saying? Our reality, the dualistic nature, would not exist on any level if the divine masculine and divine feminine energy or consciousness, information, or capability did not exist. Stop, read the chat, try to go back to my notes, and continue. I said, I did 2 readings tonight. I pulled out Isis, divine feminine, and what's his name, Aris, divine masculine. This video was perfect complement to the partnership, honestly. Much as gracias. Gracias. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, so let's continue. But I just want to highlight what I've been talking about. Now, it seems to me that many people associate the divine feminine and the divine masculine with human flesh, I'll say, or human gender or human sexuality. Those are mundane expressions of these very divine attributes. Focusing first on the divine masculine. The divine masculine is not a person. It is not a fleshly body. It is not a sexual orientation, not in its highest expression. The divine masculine is a set of consciousness, a set of information that allows a intellectual being to perceive and understand, to be conscious of certain energies that flow in our physical realm. And I've shared some of the traits, of the divine masculine. And the divine masculine consciousness, this broad energy that can be looked at as a void, a part of the void, which is actually blacker than black velvet. This portion of the void, see, I had to watch the other video, is consciousness. And it lets, again, a intellectual being know, to comprehend, to perceive, in order to understand its energy. And this is seeing in the spirit. So, again, the example attributes I offer relative to divine masculine is the awareness or the consciousness or the capability to do what? To act, or to react, and or to do what? Respond. I like this one. And or to move mountains. The divine masculine energy teaches or gives us the awareness or capability that we can move mountains. That's what that consciousness does. It is not a person. This divine masculine energy gives us the knowledge, the awareness, and the ability and capability to do what? To not only visualize, but to move that visual image into the physical realm, into a physical form. This is what masculinity does. This is what the divine masculine does. That's how every single physical element in this earth came into being, through the divine masculine. God, as creator, has also used this consciousness. Short, it is God's, part of God's consciousness. But he used it to create this physical realm. Over here with my lady, the divine feminine. The divine feminine is not a woman, not in its highest expression. It does not have a physical body. It does not smell good. It is not delicate. It is a level of consciousness, a level of awareness. It's information that allows an intellectual being to be capable of doing what? I shared. It allows a person to be open, to be open-minded. I want to stop there. When I say open-minded, if you followed me, you know we've talked about the mind versus the brain. So I'm not talking about being open-brained. I'm talking about being open-minded. What does that mean? Open-minded on the highest level means being able to maintain. This is what this divine feminine energy does. Allows you to stay open to divinity. Open-minded. As the mind is not physical, but it is the capability to communicate with divinity. She, the divine feminine, allows you to communicate with divinity. She gives you the capability, the awareness, the consciousness. I go on. The divine feminine also offers you the ability to be receptive, to receive those messages from divinity. A receiver, sympathetic, alert, observant, and concerned. I know I'm having a hard time flowing, y'all, but I'm going to get there. We're talking about the divine masculine and feminine. We will comprehend today what these energies really mean so that we can do what? Ascend. Right now, I'm going to read the chat because I got to say hi to George. Hi, George. How are you feeling today? Hello, Nancy. You got a topic I could sink my teeth into. All right, then, vampire. Sink them in. Let's get busy. So, I also talked about, so far, about how these two distinct sets of consciousness or information that allows an intellectual person to have the capability of partaking in its traits, that these consciousness are guaranteed to exist, as they are a part of this physical realm. We usually hear about it as duality. You know, opposites attract. Polarity, the law of polarity, the law of attraction. This is the same thing. It is a level of consciousness. I want to stop because there's so many subject matters that I've covered. And who the freaking fragging flogging. Hello? All right, who's calling? Oh, hello. I'm sorry. I didn't catch your voice, but I'm live on my YouTube channel. So can I call you back when I'm done? Thank you. Love it. I apologize, y'all. I won't even go into that. I ain't even cover none of that on here. But I'm going to stop because this right here, this subject matter is really critical, especially at this point in time in the history of humanity. As we are either going to ascend or we're going to descend. We are definitely moving from an old paradigm into a new paradigm. This right here is real important. And we have already been inside of this particular subject matter. We've been deep into it. And for many of you, you may not even be aware that we've already been inside of these spirits. We've already visited with these spirits. Remember I pointed you to one of the videos I made a few years ago, and I think it was called The Law of Attraction, where I go in real deep on that. There is another video before the phone rang and threw my thought pattern off. I'm sorry. Is that, what was I on? That I realized I couldn't just read, but I have to talk and refer. Is how these particular distinct sets of consciousness are guaranteed to exist because they are vital information relative to this physical realm. I'm trying to figure out where my mind was, y'all. So, where was it? Something. Real important, y'all. Hi, Dr. Princess. How are you? Oh, my God. Where was I? Devil always coming to steal, kill, and destroy. You can't have me, devil. You can't have none of my people. We will ascend. We will be the salt of the earth. Guess what, y'all? This is what I'm going to tell y'all a message I got. Now, you know I ain't in y'all intimate life. You know I ain't. You know, I get to kick it with y'all here on my YouTube channel. But the other day, actually, it was yesterday, something, I'll say, descended upon me. And it let me know that I'm dealing with the salt of the earth. It let me know that y'all are, we are the salt of the earth. And they also let me know, they talked about me about being, you know, a self-proclaimed teacher. And it let me know that in your life, the works that I have done, you visiting me here on my channel, listen to me, you know, talk about different subject matters, are going to be, I say, checked in your life, and you're going to come out victorious. Now, how that's going to play out in each one of y'all lives, I don't know. But it's something that you were exposed to here that either gave you your preliminary education on the subject matter, or it helped you advance your own understanding. And whatever it is about to be a real life blessing to y'all. So y'all let me know. I don't know how far out this testing or trial is. It sounds a little immediate. It sounds a little immediate. But I can't say it's that immediate. It's maybe in the next 6 months or so. Some of you may already have been confronted by something, and you'll be able to testify to it, because it's gonna be told. It's gonna be really a portion of your lesson, and how you have to respond is going to be connected to the things that we've talked about here on this channel. I did get that yesterday. Well, actually, it's been coming through for a few days. So that was a bit of uplifting. Now, I'm beating around the bush because I really don't remember, but it was something real important I had to say here. But I'm going to continue to move on because I can't retrieve the thought. So, we know that this consciousness must be here, as it is a part or component, of this physical realm. I know what it was, y'all. Hold on. How can I... Hopefully I don't cut us off. Channel. No, I need to go here. There's a particular video I want to refer you to. It didn't get a lot of views at all. How do I even do this? I get so confused with all this mess. Oh, goodness. How do I do this? Hold on, y'all. I got to refer you to this video. If not you, whoever comes in that really is interested in understanding what's going on and how much we have evolved as a group. We have evolved as a group, y'all. As soon as I can figure out how to get... okay, I think I found it. Where I need to go. Okay. Be right. Been make the right move. Did the right click. So I'm going to tell you what the other video is. The other video that we covered was called, don't lose your thought, Nancy. Don't lose your thought. Come on, thing. Keep up, technology. It was called Ascension 101. Another thing, that was another video or live stream that goes up under this category called Comprehension to Ascension. And it's called Ascension 101, Complications at Can Angels Fly. And in that video, it's 2 hours long. It was done August 29, 2019. And all I got were 52 views on that video. I don't know who watched it, but if you watched it, you should be able to catch what I'm saying. In that particular video, Ascension 101, Complications, we talked about rising through, or I'll say it like this, accessing different realms of consciousness. Let me try to kind of summarize for those that did not see that video and therefore cannot understand how that particular video is a part of this one we're doing now, and vice versa. It depends on what realm you are in, what information you can access. Not all realms contain all information, and that's what that video was about. See, right here in this three-dimensional realm, this place we call Earth, there is a set of consciousness. Everything that you can see, from our physical bodies to any nature, wildlife, oxygen, anything, the elements, this divine and feminine energy, these are different spirits of consciousness that dwell in this physical realm with us. Now, there are realms that are higher than ours that do not, adhere to such low vibrational forms of consciousness. In the higher realms, there is this oneness. It's the blending of these two energies to perfection, where they're absolute. We call it twin flames on this earth, in this earth. And so, how can I say? I'm gonna give you an example. This is an example I gave in that live stream as well. Is that when we start talking about the void, when I say the void, we can equate the void to God. We'll say a void that is black as velvet. The blackest velvet you ever seen, that void is God. And it is all conscious. It's all knowing. It's where all information comes from, descends from, right? Well, death, the consciousness of death and what it consists of, exists there too. But even though the consciousness, the information of death and what it is and the process and everything, even though it comes from that void, it does not have authority over that void, as the void is the creator of that consciousness. And so, how can I say, the void withstands death. The same thing stands true when it comes to this divine and feminine energy in a higher realm. The void, God. The divine and feminine energy cannot withstand divinity. It exists. It is its thought. But it has no power and authority on that level. These types of consciousness, even the consciousness of death, only has authority in lower planes, like here on Earth in its 3D realm. I just wanted to share that. So please, locate the video called Ascension 101 Complications in order to understand how consciousness depends on which realm you are accessing. Okay, so let's see where I'm at. Okay, when I get thrown off y'all. So let me see what I have written here. I'm about to back up and read to see if I can catch up. Again, starting again. Guaranteed existence of a vital set of information. Just covered that. Intelligence or consciousness. That is required. It is instrumental to the operation of this 3D reality. Did you catch it? I'm saying the same thing. That these two distinct sets of consciousness, not physical beings, not people, consciousness, awareness, black as the blackest velvet you've ever seen, are instrumental to the operation system of this 3D reality. We're talking about what? The divine masculine and the divine feminine energy. Therefore, the consciousness will never be lost. However, I have to put this here, that these consciousness, sets of consciousness or of intelligence, they are at this point in time being displaced, misrepresented, and redirected. That is something that I hope to remember to come back to, because I want to finish talking about the divine masculine and feminine energy, so we clearly understand what they are or what it is. But know this, that at this particular time in the history of humanity, the knowledge of these, again, distinct sets of consciousness are being displaced, they are being misrepresented, and they are being redirected. Let's go on. Now we're going back, because we're talking about how these forms of consciousness, they will never be lost. They will never go extinct. They will not. Now, how is this guaranteed that these systems will stay in place in this physical realm? That they will always exist? I'm going to try to read. Each physical gender or biological sex is ordained to internalize predominantly one set of consciousness over the other, as well as to personify that predominant consciousness in their physical form or body. I'll try to explain what I mean. Because right now we're talking about how these two distinct sets of consciousness will always exist. That they will never go extinct. That they are a part of the operating system of this 3D reality. How have they been, I'll say, solidified in this physical realm? The first things first is that whomever our creator is. Yes.
I want to go to Lily's house. She brought me food.
Let me see your teeth. Oh, okay. Okay. Bye. And was Kevin gone?
He's left.
Kenneth, gone with you. Okay, who's here with me?
Ruby.
Okay, she haven't left yet?
No.
Okay. So, whoever our creator is a master designer. I'll say that. And so these level of consciousness are his thoughts or its thoughts. And as a master designer, the creator allowed its consciousness to descend, or is a word, devolve. And as its consciousness devolved, these particular states of consciousness devolved. Right now, we're talking about the twin flame. When y'all want to hear about twin flame, here's your twin flame. As the divine consciousness began to devolve and left the higher realms, that's where you have the original spark. The twin flame is a spark. It is that divine idea. And the divine idea here is to allow consciousness to descend down into the lower realms down here, 3D realm, Earth. And as the consciousness begins to devolve, that flame, that original spark, once into this realm, broke. This is the original dissension of divinity's consciousness that created duality and polarity, and therefore the ability to have what? The law of attraction. That's the true story of, again, twin flames. So, they throw me off, so. Still devolving. Now, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, you got to remember, are conscious. Black as the blackest velvet you ever seen. Now, it's two distinct consciousness or set of information that creates the structure, this reality we call 3D. And we can think of it like this, that the masculine has its, offspring, and the feminine energy has its offspring. And their offsprings descend or devolve even lower than themselves. And these things began to solidify in this realm that they created, they helped to create. How to say? And one of the first manifestations of the dissension of the masculine, divine masculine, and the divine feminine are what? Actual biological sexes and physical forms. The masculine and the feminine form. I think the man over here. Do I have on the side? Yeah, he over here. The masculine man over there and the feminine woman. These are the initial physical manifestations of these spirits or energies we refer to as divine feminine and divine masculine. Once in figure, this is all about guaranteeing that this consciousness will never go extinct. So once in the physical form, we can turn to one form. Let's turn to the fellow over here on the very far end. That the masculine energy has a biological makeup or consciousness or intelligence that literally grooms the male's body to be built a certain way, to be able to withstand like the stress or pressures, talking about air pressures on them in a certain manner. The male usually has what? Broader shoulders, flat breast region, narrow hips, different things like that. More muscular, usually more taller than their female or the feminine counterpart. These are attributes of the divine masculine that end up manifesting in the physical due to the original consciousness or information. But what you can't forget here is that the true nature of the divine masculine is not in physical form. It is information. It's consciousness. It's intelligence that gives the capability for certain things to happen in a 3D realm. This divine masculine energy allows the biological male not only to be built a certain way, but allows him to have natural innate instincts, such as being more reactive. What are the things that we talked about being reactive, responsive, capable of moving mountains, capable of taking something from the visionary state and bringing it into reality or into the material world. That is the with the divine masculine consciousness allows or grants to the masculine, to the biological male. Now, I'm going to try to do better, y'all. The divine feminine. Remember, the highest expression of the divine feminine is not a physical being. It as black as the blackest velvet you've ever seen. And it has a set of information that when it descends down into the physical world and it manifests in a physical with certain attributes. Which side is she on? She's over here to the far side. And the physical attributes of a woman is usually that she's a little smaller than her male counterpart. The head is smaller. The hands and feet are smaller. The breasts are full. The waist is small. The hips are wider usually. There is more passivity to this energy, and we're going to talk about the passivity. And it's also one of the capability of nurturing. These attributes are the spirit of the divine feminine, that consciousness that's black as the blackest velvet you've ever seen. Now, let's go back and talk about the divine feminine consciousness and what it allows the capability of, or the awareness of. It allows, which side is she over here? The one on the far, the lady on the far side, to be open. What? Open to what? Her counterpart? Maybe. To be open-minded. Remember? In touch or in tune with divinity. Intuition and different things like that. That's how we align all of these terms associated with different, planets and things like that. Like in this case, the moon, when talking about the divine feminine. It also allows her, this physical manifestation of the divine feminine, to be receptive, to be a receiver, to be sympathetic, to be alert, to be observant, and to be concerned. Now, let's see if I can make this make sense. Even though, how can I say this? Even though when the actual highest expression of these two distinctive sets of consciousness descend down into physical forms. The physical forms that you can see are personifications of the attributes or the characteristics of the highest expression. Let me see. Hi, Pam, if I can say that better, y'all. Now, we know we dealing with consciousness, this blackest, the blackest velvet you've ever seen. And it is information. And that information, when it manifests in the physical, is personified to look like it's information. Personified to look like it's information. So the physical body looks like the divine information. Yes?
I'm about to go. I'm not going to the gym. I'm going to take you to
You just going to do what you want to do. Whatever. Bye. Put your seatbelt on. Don't lock the door. Just close everything
I'm
up.
not staying. I'm going to be there for you.
Whatever. You're a grown woman. You can do, well, don't
Well,
do
you
what you
ain't-
want to
you-
do
you
because you
ain't
know
get-
I'm gonna act a fool.
You ain't give her that problem when she wants to go.
She going over Lily's.
And I'm going to
Problem is, I don't believe you. You already told me what you was about to do, and if you okay with it, you do it. But I bet you this, you better answer that phone when I call, or I'm gonna set it off, whether you wrong or not. Yeah, with him. Like I said, when I call, you better answer that phone. You ain't that wrong. Okay. All right. Motherhood first. I got the cuss and fussle today, right? Okay. So where was I? Oh, I'm protecting my vices because I'm stressing out. That's what I do. It's my weakness and my vice. So, I was talking about how the actual divine consciousness, that information, when it devolves down into 3D physicality, it is personified in the attributes of the physical vessel. Does that make sense to y'all? You say you love that family connection, I may have to give them to you. Give me your address, I'm going to UPS them to you. I'm going to put them in a box. They going to pop out. You're like, oh no, put it back, send it back. Send it back. So, I hope I'm making that make sense. That the reason why the biological female looks like she looks, as far as the breasts and the hips and things, she has ovaries and things like that, and what else a woman got? You know what I'm saying? All them special internal organs that only women have. It is because that is a physical personification of the actual divine information or intelligence. Same thing with men. You know, the way a biological male looks is because they are a physical manifestation or personification of the divine masculine information. And that divine masculine information, once it evolves down into this physical realm, it creates the body structure of a man. The phallus, the testicles, what's all that stuff that I be trying to be professional, y'all. I give up. Hello? If I owe over $5,000, if I did, I would talk to y'all and give you. They just give your number to whoever they want to. They just don't care. Now I got a lighter that don't want to work. It work every 5 hours. Work right? Wombs, urethras, tubes. Lord, they gave us too much. Perfect machine. But so you get what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a physical manifestation of the divine. Masculine and feminine consciousness. That's what it is. But then we can focus on one gender or the other, the male or the female, the scroll. You know what I'm saying? They didn't miss nothing. That is all the consciousness. All of that is the consciousness of divinity. It is all the consciousness of the divine and masculine energy. Ain't that interesting? Everything. Men have mustaches. Most women don't. You know what I'm saying? Usually it's when they get older and their hormones get all messed up. But before that, women usually don't have mustaches. All of that comes from the divine consciousness. So, remember, what are we talking about? We're talking about how this consciousness, this information will not be lost. It won't be lost. It is secured here in this physical realm. One way we know is in the forms, the physical forms of the human body, as well as other character traits and behavioral patterns. All of that is the consciousness of each of these distinct sets of consciousness. Now, each one of these, let's say, genders, sexes, however you like to label them, but we're talking about on a divine level. Each of them are was it asexual on a high level? You know, on a in the highest expression, asexual. This female energy, that divine feminine, also possesses masculinity, but to what? A lesser degree. This divine masculine, guess what? Also possesses the feminine energy, just to a lesser degree. How can we know that? Because we know that these two distinct sets of consciousness, black as the blackest velvet you ever seen, are counterparts. They are the original twin flames on the highest, in the highest expression of the twin flame. And because this divine energy, this feminine divine energy, is naturally, because it's her counterpart, attracted to this masculine divine energy, and therefore pulls from him. And the same stands true in reverse, that he is the ordained counterpart to the divine feminine. And so he do what? He go over here and pull from her in order to understand femininity. But understands it and executes it to a lesser degree. On a higher plane, I guess we could ask this question. Why would this divine masculine need or want to express femininity when he already got his counterpart? He knows her. He knows her very well. They were made to go together. So all he got to do really is execute his masculinity. And the same stands true for her. And that it what ensures that these two distinct sets of consciousness will always exist in the operation of this three-dimensional realm. So let me see if I can catch up again. I'll read, so maybe I can catch up. It says, nevertheless, each physical gender, biological gender, female or male, each possess both sets of intelligence or consciousness that are what? The feminine and masculine consciousness or capability. I was going to use myself as an example. So I really don't know what I was going to say. But I know what I wanted to talk about. I'm going to just read. And now I'm going to close up because it's something I want to talk about. Sorry, that was to Dr. Princess, but okay, now I get it. Okay. We have a full money, huh? Yeah, we got we got the whole thing. That's about. So, right now I want to read some more synonyms for the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And when we start talking about divine feminine, I want to go back and talk and read off the terms that correspond with the feminine energy, which are yin, dark, negative, Venus, subconscious, female. Now, more synonyms. Invisible, feeling, sensitivity, awareness, delicacy, impressionability, excitability, tactility, I think tactful, something, reflex, and motor responses. All of those synonyms line up with the feminine energy or the feminine aspect. Now, Let's do the masculine aspect. Going back, yang, light, positive, Mars, conscious, male, more synonyms, visible, numbness, unconsciousness, which is interesting, insensitivity, apathy, initiator, originator, sovereign, and self-reliant. What? Invisible. Oh, women. Yes, yes. Because the feminine energy corresponds to the internal, the hidden, the emotions, the feeling, the water, the cups and tarot and things like that. Where the masculine energy is more like a outward, assertive, fiery, forceful energy. The reason why I wanted to share those different synonyms relative to the masculine and feminine consciousness is because I want to talk about the state of the world and where we are. And hopefully I'll even be able to talk about how we are this, the awareness, this consciousness, because it cannot be hid. It will never go extinct. This is a part of the operation system in this 3D reality. And so it can't be stopped. But what is happening, as mentioned early on, we are being miseducated on, these particular topics. We are being, the energy itself is being displaced, misrepresented, and or redirected. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. Right. I mean, but see, this is the thing. It's not to be offended by these synonyms relative to the feminine energy, because they're absolutely beautiful. You have to go back to the source, and the source is what I gave you the analogy of this consciousness. Just close your eyes, and again, it's just blacker than the blackest velvet you ever seen. And if you ever seen black velvet, it's black, and then it depends on how the fibers lay. If the fibers in one section on a piece of fabric, if some of the fibers on part of the fabric are going in the opposite direction, it looks darker, and then another part of the fabric, if the fabrics are leaning another way, it looks darker. So it's these different hues of dark. And so, yes, when you hear the term invisible or dark in this mundane level, it sounds negative. But when we're talking about divinity, the divine consciousness, you would not know light if it was not for dark. You would not know visibility if you did not know invisibility. If you don't know the inside, then you will not know the outside. And so these are our original twin flame couple. So it's actually a very poetic and beautiful, ultimate Romeo. Well, Romeo and Juliet. Well, I can say Romeo and Juliet because they are trying to kill him now. But the very romantic. This is a true romanticized expression of love. I don't know how to say that, but it's beautiful. It's very poetic. So, why do I want to talk about the state of the world? I always say this. I don't know what you follow here on YouTube or any other platform, so therefore I do not know what you're exposed to. But from my perspective, it seems that many people are under this illusion that the divine feminine is rising and the divine masculine is falling. And I guess to some degree that is true, but not fully. Remember, this is about a comprehension so that we can ascend. We have to comprehend. We have to come to understand. To clearly be able to comprehend is to perceive and understand and be able to articulate and to execute, But it's only if you truly understand what is occurring, at this point in time in history of humanity. Over the last, we can say, 75 at least to 100 years at least, and I know it's been longer than that, but we have lived in a predominantly, is it patriarchal, I think that's the male, ruled regions. You know, the men ruled. Women were in this, and the place of the voice of the woman has been suppressed. And so we have to go back and talk about the divine masculine consciousness and what it has allowed to be realized in this physical world. The divine masculine consciousness has allowed reactionary energy to be realized and perpetuated in this world. Remember, I was reading the synonyms. It has allowed numbness in this physical world. The divine, the descent or the devolved lower vibration of the divine masculine energy has allowed people to be conscious, hi Val, and aware of and to execute numbness, insensitivity, apathy, and to be self-reliant, forceful. And we're talking about, remember, we're talking about ascending or descending, devolving. So we're talking about this divine masculine energy really, really falling to a hell-like state in which people are violent. That's another set of information that is a part of the divine masculine being forceful. You know, they talk about the protector. Well, that protector has fallen to be violent and crude and rude. And for the last few decades, our world has been ran by such avatars that embody, again, this low vibrational expression of the divine masculine. Remember, these in distinct level of consciousness cannot go extinct. They are operational system relative to this physical world. Hi, 1, 2. So, why is it being said that the divine feminine is rising? Thank you. You got to go back to the source. You got to go back to the blackest black velvet you ever see. Remember, they are ordained counterparts. And since her counterpart has fallen so low in vibration, this consciousness must rise. In order to do what? To bring back a balance to this physical realm. That it is a governing operating system too. You also have to remember that this divine feminine energy also possesses her counterpart's energy. She learned everything from them. So, I mean, she usually uses it to a lesser degree. But she is highly aware and highly educated, as she has benefited from her connection with her ordained counterpart. So she will rise. So what's really rising? What's really rising? It is not per se a physical person in a physical body, a biological female body, not per se. No. What is rising in order to balance the imbalance is the what? The blackest black velvet you ever did see. It is the divine feminine consciousness, that unique set of information and intelligence. That's what's rising in our realm. And that intelligence covers what? It allots what? Capability. Okay. It allows what? Capability. Once personified, once realized in this physical realm. Well, we'll look at the synonyms. The rise of the consciousness, the intelligence of the divine feminine, brings into our reality sensitivity, awareness, impressionability, excitability, reflexes, and motor responses. What does that mean? Well, we know for the longest of time, if I'm saying it, when the is a patriarchal line rule, the male rule, if I get them mixed up, forgive me, that there was a lack of sensitivity. And so we are where we are now. There was a lack of caring. There was a lack of empathy. And so that's where we are now. So when the divine feminine consciousness rises, it will bring to the minds, to the consciousness of those intellectual beings, namely you and myself, and other people that create humanity, that it is time to care and to be sensitive and to be receptive to that which is outside of yourself. And through that sensitivity, and not only sensitivity, remember, she also possesses the knowledge of her counterpart, which is to react, to respond, to move mountains. She can do it. She has learned from her ordained counterpart. And then the whole thing is that her counterpart ain't dead. Her counterpart has been brought low into low vibrational energy. He must remember. And the only way that the divine masculine can really remember his essence, his true essence, is to be what? Rebalanced by his feminine counterpart. And so what she does, thank you, Ethiopia. Let me read what y'all talking about. Let me stay focused because I forget. So what am I saying?